Welcome back. GOP lawmakers taking a crucial step to unlock American energy and reverse disastrous energy policies of the Biden administration era. The Unlocking Our Domestic LNG Potential Act of 2025 would grant the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission exclusive authority to sign off on LNG import applications, shifting the process away from the Energy Department. Joining us now is Texas Congressman August Pfluger. He is the chairman of the House Republican Study Committee. And Mr. Chairman, it's great to see you.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much for being here. We were just with you in your district in West Texas. You say sponsoring this legislation, you will tremendously impact your district of Central and West Texas. Tell us about that.
Well, as you know, and thank you for coming to the Permian Basin to see it firsthand, what we do out there is hard, but you shouldn't have to fight the government. And that's exactly what happened with the Biden administration. We had to fight an overburdensome regulatory state that didn't want us to be able to export LNG. And it's really important for our partners and allies. This piece of legislation cuts the red tape, gets back to a point of business where you can get it quickly approved, and then we can get on with a predictable future. And that's what the oil and gas industry needs, predictability. This is a 20-year, 30-year type contract that they're going to sign with countries like Japan and Korea. Other countries who don't have access to LNG, so it's really important.
Well, which is why Mike Wirth will always say we want to see these rules codified. We don't want to put all this investment in the ground if it's just an executive order that could reverse in 4 years when there's a new president.
That's exactly right. And Democrats fought this tooth and nail because they know that this means we have a long-term, stable look, a predictable future for LNG. One of the most important things, Maria, of this is what we do next, and that's permitting reform. And our focus on the Energy and Commerce Committee, on the Natural Resources Committee, is permitting reform to make sure that we can get this quickly done. It doesn't take 10 years to get a pipeline approved, where we know it should actually take less than a year.
Well, you were working on that, and then we had a 43-day government shutdown. So has that left things behind?
Well, certainly, I think Democrats know that they were able to halt some business, but I think it has actually lit a fire under most lawmakers that we now are moving quickly, moving forward. And this is something for the American public that is really important for us to get done.
Well, also a lot of conversation now about the 2026 midterm elections. And President Trump is urging Republicans to redraw the congressional maps ahead of the midterms. The president is vowing to back primary challenges against GOP lawmakers in Indiana who failed to support this push to redistrict. Meanwhile, a 3-judge panel ruling Texas cannot use its newly drawn congressional map for next year's election. That was a big deal. It must use 2021's map. Instead, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton now planning to ask the Supreme Court to reverse this ruling. Your thoughts on this?
Well, obviously disappointing, and especially in light of, take New England, for example, not a single Republican east of New York, north and east of New York, not a single congressional Republican there. In California, of 55, they have 4 Republicans now. 4.
Wow.
So 55, you have 51 Democrats and 4 Republicans. Now, talk about gerrymandering. That's exactly the definition of it there. So disappointing. It will be appealed. Texas is a great state. Republicans, I think, really echo the values and stand up for the state. So I think that the appeal should be successful.
I mean, I don't understand that ruling. Haven't Democrats been doing this for like a decade or plus?
They've perfected it.
Yeah.
And then they say that President Trump is doing something that hasn't been done in the past. That's false, because Democrats really perfected it.
It's just like the shutdown. The Democrats are now saying they want the Government Accountability Office to probe Republicans on the messaging. I thought that was really funny.
I mean, you can't make this up.
Right.
We stand for a pro-business, pro-family country, and Democrats they'll stand in the way of it every time.
So, Congressman, you introduced a series of 3 bills aimed at reducing foreign adversarial influence within the United States. Great job on that. They would prevent senior government officials from lobbying on behalf of nations like China, Russia, North Korea, Iran. Good idea. Tell us more.
It's disappointing we have to actually introduce legislation like this. But take Obama's Attorney General Loretta Lynch, who actually lobbied for a Chinese company, DJI. We need to know that. We need to be able to have laws in place that if you're a senior official, you can't lobby, you can't be paid, you can't act on behalf of adversarial nations like Iran, like China, like Russia. Because the business of the United States government. This is common sense, and I think our public deserves to have some trust that if you serve in those senior positions, you're not going to immediately go make money off of China.
I mean, this is, China's MO, right? Get an influencer in Washington to get behind what you want. I don't even understand how Loretta Lynch could think that our military should be using Chinese-made drones.
It's unbelievable. And that's really why we had to introduce this, because people were capitalizing on their experience where they serve in these senior positions. They have access to information that the United States government, in a lot of cases, classified information of what we need to do to compete with these countries. And then they go cash in with adversarial nations. It's not right. That's why this legislation is important.
So should we assume that Loretta Lynch was being paid by the CCP to push DJI? And is that why we were buying drones? And are we still buying drones from a Chinese drone maker? Well, I mean, let's just explain what this means. If a drone sees something in anywhere, let's say America, can't the CCP see the same thing if it's made by China?
That is exactly the worry, whether it's telecommunications equipment or drone equipment, that they're using that to surveil the United States. Remember the balloon that Biden let fly over our country for over a week.
And Loretta Lynch supporting this? Because was she getting paid personally? Is that why?
Absolutely, yes. And so, and the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party, is tied to all of these industries, and they have a mandate to use private industry, commercial industry for the purposes of intelligence gathering.
Right.
So you have to assume that they're connected.
Unbelievable. Meanwhile, I want to get your take on the president's agenda with regard to immigration, because protests erupted in North Carolina after a targeted ICE raid in Charlotte. DHS's Operation Charlotte's Web, resulting in the arrest of 130 illegals, including an MS-13 gang member. Criminal records of those arrested include aggravated assault, assault with a dangerous weapon, assault on a police officer, battery, driving under the influence, hit and runs. I mean, Mr. Chairman, gosh, the list is long. Your reaction? Well,
let's get back to a normal argument where Americans say, yeah, we don't want MS-13 gang members, and most Americans don't. So you have this very small faction of the Democrat Party, the radical side, who says, no, we need to let those people in. Well, Joe Biden let millions of people in, and this is the result. You have so many people in sex trafficking, in all these different illegal entities, gang members, terrorist activities. We know that there are over 2,000 people who matched a terror watch list that they let in that are still in our country. So I applaud President Trump for going after these people and keeping our country safe.
So was that the auto pen? I mean, did Joe Biden understand what he was doing with this wide open border, or was that the extremist part of the party doing things when he was asleep?
I mean, I would love to chalk it up to the auto pen, but let's be honest. I think this was deliberate. I think they knew exactly what they were doing. And where did these people go? They go to places like New York and California where health care and other benefits are provided to them.
Unbelievable.
And it's all connected. It's all tied together. And when you talk about congressional lines and districts, this is why it's important to understand who is in our country. And I've always pushed for the census to only count American citizens.
Yeah, but they count illegals in a lot of these. Do they count illegals across the country, or just in certain districts?
They count them across the country because that's the current law.
Yeah, unbelievable. And it's really hard to understand how these mayors of big cities like Chicago are pushing back against President Trump's agenda, which is trying to get the bad guys out.
It's unbelievable. And we'll see what happens in New York City. And nobody's closer to that than you. They really are pushing for a destruction of law and order.
Congressman, it's great to have you this morning.
Thank you. Good
Thanks
to see
very
you.
much. We're going to be watching you.